Well, 1 in 6 are struggling to conceive.
Okay,
Infertility is that prevalent
gotcha.
worldwide? And so there truly is more support needed, and there is more that needs to go alongside of it. And I think that there's so much more that we can and should be doing to help ourselves during this process. There are no negative consequences to working on yourself and to nourishing yourself at the best level possible.
Welcome to the I Am Pain-Free podcast. Today, we're diving into a powerful conversation about fertility and healing with holistic fertility coach Ashley Holmes. What started Ashley's personal struggle evolved into a journey that changed her life and now is transforming the lives of others. Isn't that awesome? I love that. But what led her to finally unlock her own body's ability to conceive after years of frustration? Right? Stay tuned to find out how her surprising breakthrough led to a powerful method that she now uses to help so many others. Hey, this is Rob Renee from the I Am Pain Free podcast. Welcome back. We have a fun guest today. I have Ashley here with us. Ashley, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, me as well. This is going to be a topic that we haven't addressed yet, which is exciting because I've talked a lot about different pain and pain relief efforts for people, and it's been all across the board, right? From all spectrums. We haven't dealt into more female-oriented or specific issues and problems, and I'm loving that that's a lot of what you've done in your story. And so, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself and how you got to what you're doing today?
Definitely. I really birthed my business as a holistic fertility coach for my own fertility struggles, for my own fertility journey, and really knowing that what I became knowledgeable in and what I learned about myself, my own experience was that there was a lot I was not tapping into, that there was a lot was available to me and that I could use, I could access, and not only to help with my fertility journey, but also as a mom, a wife, a business owner. It really is looking at the big picture of how to live a long and healthy lifestyle and to really be there for your kids and to be there for your family and those that matter the most. And I think that it's important to look big picture and not just be so focused on the goal, right? Because you not only want to get pregnant, you want to have a healthy pregnancy and
Yeah.
delivery and postpartum period. But all matters, it's all connected.
That's so true. And like from a male's perspective, it's so difficult because we don't have a lot to do with it. It's like that we do have it's important part, but it's still there is so much to women's fertility, and it's so complex that a lot of people don't understand that. So I'm excited just to chat with you about your journey, right? What happened, and then what was your struggles, and then how did you get through those struggles, and then that to now be so knowledgeable about that you help other people. I'm excited to learn more.
Yes, I struggled over a decade ago. My twins are now 11 and I was
Wow,
blessed with
awesome.
twins.
Yeah.
It was a long, hard road to get there, and it wasn't a path I wanted to go down again using a fertility clinic. I walked away with a boy and a girl, and I thought just be grateful, and I am, and I was, but a little piece and part of me always wanted to know why there was no answers with unexplained infertility, why they couldn't tell me specifically why I wasn't able to conceive naturally, to conceive on my own. And so I walked away from that experience thinking that it wasn't possible for me and that I couldn't have any more children without using a clinic. And that simply was not the truth. My
Wow.
son, as I'm recording this, turned 6 years old today. So my youngest. And so
Wow,
there's a big
today's his
span of
birthday,
time.
literally.
Literally
How
today is.
how cool is that? Happy birthday
Yeah.
to your 6-year-old. That's amazing.
Yes, and I didn't know if I was ever going to have any, and I was so focused on having one that I was blessed with two and didn't think I could have any more. And it was truly landing on my yoga mat in a $5 karma class that really led me to where I am now because I was hooked from the beginning, and it was purely understanding and learning about the energetics of my body and also learning that hot yoga, yes, got me hooked in the beginning, but that's truly not what I needed in the long run to help support me on my health and wellness journey. And what I mean by that is I really needed to work with my nervous system and to embody practices that were a lot slower, that were a lot gentler, and that weren't so busy for my body to come out of fight or flight and into rest and digest mode. And that's where I needed to be. And I needed to learn that. And I needed to learn how to pay attention to my breath and to nourish myself optimally and to really treat my body like the sacred vessel, which it is, instead of trying to force it and make it do things on my timeline. So, really, a lot of unlearning, I would say. Traditionally, what is out there, and something's wrong, to quote unquote go to the doctor and to take this pill and to fix it, and to really come to understand my own body and its own capabilities and what is possible for what I believe all of us. And I think that unless medically there is a reason that no, it isn't possible, I truly think that we can take our health, healing, and happiness into our own hands whenever we choose to.
That's interesting. Yeah, I totally agree. I think from my perspective, God created our bodies incredibly, wonderfully, and complex, and that He made it to heal itself. And we need, if we can give it the right ingredients and the right nutrients, the right environment that includes the mind, body, and spirit connections, that your body can do amazing things, or the whole mind, body, spirit connection can do a lot of amazing things. It sounds like you were able to work with your body and learn a lot of those concepts to help you transition to where you change your body to where you could actually conceive. Is that accurate?
Yes, it didn't take long to work with my body to change the complete, I would say, physiology of my body from being disconnected to feeling connected, to realize that I do have a mind body spirit connection that I wasn't accessing, and that I really did truly need to heal and make peace with the past because I didn't realize my organs were housing certain emotions and that I had a lot of stuck energy within myself, and it was important for me and to know now that everything happened exactly I was meant to. I was exactly where I needed to be, and I think we want to control and we want things to work out on our timeline and our time frame. And there's a lot of surrender that goes along with working with me and a lot of letting go because that truly is the path, and that's how I learned it was the path, was that I just needed to be more still, to incorporate more silence and less doing and more being. And that can go across whichever culture you live in where you're listening to this. That is really the lifestyle, this very masculine go do world we're living in. And yet that doesn't honor the female body at all, or our cycles, or be in harmony with the rhythms and natures of the elements that exist within us. And so we really can learn to work with our bodies and not go at the same pace all month, and not to just force and try to make things happen, and instead bring a different energy and bring a different dynamic to our approach.
Got it. Yeah, that's really interesting. So you obviously had your 6-year-old 6 years ago, and your twins 11 years ago. And then have you been coaching ever since then, or did you start before your 6-year-old, or how did that evolve to where you learned how to do this and then you started helping others?
I really made a transition and a pivot to go online during the pandemic because
Okay.
it was time, I think, to go online. And it was also time to help people in a more meaningful and deeper way because this not only helps you and your consciousness, but it also is helping your baby and the baby you birth. And so realizing that there's a bigger, broader approach to bring to this, that there's deeper healing that needs to happen, and that's not necessarily what the medical world is offering. They're offering the science part, but if you're just approaching your fertility looking at the physical and doing the physical and not addressing the mental, emotional, spiritual aspects of this, then you are really missing out on a whole lot. And I honestly do feel that's why it's not as successful. You can do IVF, but if you're just taking the medications and you're not doing anything else for yourself along the way, you're really doing yourself a disservice, I feel.
Yeah, that's very true. I've been digging a lot into trying to help people from, I don't know if you've heard of Casey and Callie Means and their Good Energy book that they just released that basically just talks about how what you're consuming right in your body can really make your body work in a totally different way and in a way that your body needs, right? If you can feed it the right nutrients, then guess what? Your body can start operating the way it needs. And I think that people can do that so that's more of a physical perspective, what you put in your body, but then also there's a spiritual aspect to that too. And people of different faiths have different beliefs related to how that works. I think it is the spiritual aspect is important. And like you said, the medical system is all just science based and doesn't even look at other components. And in fact, the medical establishment is narrowed into a specific problem and a specific issue, and they don't look at the body as a whole too. And I think
Hmm.
that's really an important part of the equation for everyone. So let's
Definitely.
talk about your specific story. So you obviously had struggles with trying to get pregnant, and you'd used the IVF and a clinic to get to your 11-year-olds. Is that accurate?
I didn't have to go quite that far, but that's the
Okay,
route that
okay.
I was headed. And
Got
it was in that moment of everything I tried should have worked so far. We're going to move on to the next protocol and feeling like, man, I'm doing everything down to an art, down to a science, feeling really depleted and deflated. Why isn't this working? I'm doing everything you're telling me to do and everything I know
right.
to do
Yeah.
down to a T. And so it really goes to show you that there truly is more behind it. It's not, if this was simple and this was easy, then it wouldn't be such a prevalent issue. But when it is 1 in 6, that is a big issue. And
So explain
there
that to me. What do
is
you say, 1 in 6? What does that mean?
1 in 6 are struggling to conceive.
Okay,
Infertility is that prevalent
gotcha.
worldwide?
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
amazing. That's a big number, right?
That's a big number.
Yeah, yeah.
And, and so there truly is more support needed, and there is more that needs to go alongside of it. And I think whether you choose Eastern or you choose Western or a blend, I think that there's so much more that we can and should be doing to help ourselves during this process because there are a lot of emotions that come up, especially if and when you introduce fertility drugs into the mix. The hormones are a lot more elevated and you're experiencing everything on a whole different level. And so I think that, you need someone to be by your side and walk you through everything that you're going through, and also to not deny what you have been through already, because unfortunately, nobody finds me in the beginning. They've been on this path for a while, right? And so they've been
Right.
through a lot, they've tried a lot, and they're very frustrated with where they're at in this given moment.
Yeah, I'll bet frustrated and jaded too, right? They're just mad at the situation and want to figure out a way to be able to conceive. I know that's such a big important part of many people's just comfort level in themselves, right? That I have a body that can have a child, right? And people who want to be a mother and can't, it's heartbreaking for them. They really want to conceive. And that nowadays it's really, I think it's neat to respect that there are other options with adoption and other things. And even what do you call it when someone else has your baby inside them? What do you call that? That's like yeah,
Surrogacy.
a surrogate. Yeah,
Yes.
sorry. I know didn't know the term. I do know the term, it just couldn't come to mind. So it's being a surrogate. I know that's also an option, and there's just at least there's ways to help people get through this difficult period. But I love that you're just trying to help people just with that mind, body, spirit, that connection, and trying to help them through it. So when people do come to you, do you what how do you typically intake them, and then how do you start the journey with them?
I work 1-to-1, so everything is tailored and customized to that specific person because they may be coming from failed IVFs. They may have never had a positive pregnancy test. There's so many different ways that people come to me and find me. They may be struggling with secondary infertility, which is also not discussed very often and not seen as such an issue. But for someone who's trying to grow their family, to have more children, and then trying to do all of this with one and while looking after another one, it's so many layers of stress that sort of we have to look at. And so we look at where you are at. We initially look at sort of what you're eating, what you're consuming in a week, because it does matter. And I use Ayurveda, which is the sister science to yoga, which will help determine your inborn constitution. So most people are either predominantly Vata or Pitta or Kapha. And when you know that, you can work with your body with a lot more ease, understand your body, what works for your body, what nourishes your body, what yoga poses are best for you, what breath work is best for you, really to just bring that harmony and balance and alignment back into your body, because you wouldn't be experiencing infertility if everything was in balance.
Right.
This is showing up because there are imbalances within. And so it's really bringing everything back into a state of flow, which is where you need to be, where you want to be for this to happen and to create that fertile foundation within.
That makes sense. How many clients have you worked with? Or I guess how you started, did you started before your 6-year-old, or did you start? No, you said during the pandemic is when you started.
Yes, so
Oh, that's
I
right.
think it was 3.5 or something
Okay,
around that
okay.
time.
Very
Yeah.
good.
And it was just time to help and to put this out there and to say, this is available to you. There is more available to you than I bet that you have thought of or tapped into. And so it's a pleasure and an honor. Sometimes people are referred to me, sometimes they find me organically, and all is welcome, because the more we help one another and uplift and elevate one another, the better off the whole world is going to be. And I think it is such an investment to really prioritize this, because it's not going to help you on your fertility journey. It's going to help you in the long run. And I think it's so important to know that really should be first and foremost. You really do want to take care of this body, because this is what will also house and birth this child from. You want it to be in the best possible shape.
Yeah, that's so important, right? Because if you don't take care of yourself, then you're not going to be taking care of that wonderful human being that's inside your body. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's so important, and that just having that all a rounded approach, a holistic approach to your well-being is super important for the health of you, like you said, as well as the health of your lovely human being that you're birthing, which is
Mhm.
amazing. So I love it. So you've helped, how many people have you helped, do you think, in the last couple of years?
More and more. And it's
Yeah.
just a joy, because I've started North America, but it's
Okay.
branching out. It is expanding, and I can help anybody anywhere, which is the blessing of
Can
the
you?
internet, which is we can make this work. Everything I offer, you can do from the comfort of your own home. You can make this work into your lifestyle, whereas this isn't another appointment and thing that you have to get to, another sort of to do. This is what you can do for yourself that you can control. So switching that locus of control from external to internal and focusing on those things that you do have control over, and really learning to surrender and let go of those things that you don't, because we can only do so much. So let's find that place of peace within, no matter what is in front of you. And when you have that, then it doesn't matter so much if it wasn't this cycle. You're not so devastated each and every time. You can
Right.
begin to find that little bit more peace and calm within, so that it isn't such an emotional roller coaster ride. Because often when people come to me, they're very much in their heads, not so much in their bodies, perhaps not sleeping well. Just the mind is very busy, very active. So we're learning to train the mind, and we're learning to not let it be in control, and to learn that we
Yeah.
can control our thoughts, and to learn that we can reprogram our thoughts and rewire those pathways in our brain, so that when those thoughts show up, which they will, like, why is she pregnant and I'm not? And all of those things are natural. But instead of
Yep.
shaming and judging ourselves, we can just observe the thought and not attach to that thought, and not feel such fiery energy within that it hasn't happened for me yet. We can have equal state of equilibrium within, where we're not so triggered, we're not so reactive. We can just allow ourselves to be. We can acknowledge all those feelings, because they're not always comfortable. So we also learn how to sit with those uncomfortable emotions, to process those, to actually allow ourselves to feel, so that we're not energetically holding on to those and taking that into the next round of our cycles. So there's a lot of in the moment sort of processing, and so that we're clearing this energy every single day, every month, every week, so that we're starting afresh, we're starting anew, we're not bringing the past into every single aspect of our life, into every relationship, all
Right.
of those things. There's a lot of learning to do, so it's really becoming a student of your own life.
I like it. So, can you tell us a couple of stories of people that you've worked with? Can you give us some client success stories?
Yes, definitely. It's a joy when that moment happens, and it's a joy to know that I have helped them on their journey. I have helped shift their entire state of being. I've had a client say, I'm not the same person anymore. And it's, no, you're not. And that's a
Right.
good thing, I think. And it even starts as small as food tasting better in the beginning and just awakening those senses that have perhaps been ignored or dormant or not what they're meant to be and should be, and just starting small. It's not a throw everything out the window and start new, because we all know that doesn't work. It's not sustainable and it's not long lasting. And so it's those small daily habits and those small incremental shifts and changes that do add up, that do matter, that do change the trajectory of your life and your child's. And I think often we want that instantaneous, right? We want that
Right, right. Yeah,
instantaneous,
that's what
you
happened
know,
with our pill for an ill society, right? It was like, hey, I want to go to the doctor and take my pill and I want to be pregnant. Yeah, that's unfortunately how many of us have been raised, right? Okay, I've got a problem. I
yes.
just need to take a pill and it's going to go away. And unfortunately, it's a lot more complicated than that. But how
It's more
about
about
just
getting to
your,
the root.
how about a
It's more about
crazy
getting to
story?
the
What,
root.
there you go, get to the root. I like the root. Let's explore the root. What do you try? How do you help people get to the root?
The root is different for everybody, what that
Right,
root is, right? But that root begins in the mind and what is in your subconscious mind. And you hold the keys to your subconscious mind. So I am your guide and I can help you awaken the healer within you, but I don't heal people. It's that learning of I am my own healer, and I can learn how to do this for myself. I can notice these things within myself. I can notice when I have imbalances, and then I also know how to correct them. So, whether that is energetically, whether that's nutritionally, you are going to know if I eat that, then I'm going to feel like this, and I don't
right,
want that, and that's not optimal for me. So, I perhaps am going to choose not to, because I may have done that for the last however many years. And
right,
so,
right.
it's really getting to know yourself on a level that you probably haven't before. And so, really getting to the root, because that is where it stems from and what that looks like for everybody. It may be showing up as endometriosis, it may be showing up as unexplained infertility, it may be showing up as polycystic ovarian. And so, it can manifest in many different ways, but it's always understanding that whatever is showing up for you is showing up for a reason. It's
Right.
not just showing up out of nowhere, but it began as an imbalance and it turned into something else. And so we can learn how and what to do with what is showing up for us and course correct it. And to know that this isn't a quick fix, it's not a band aid, but it is long lasting change. And I think that's what we should all be seeking for, is not the quick fix, because
Right.
the quick fix will end us up back with a secondary infertility if we haven't addressed what has gone on initially, right?
Yeah. So what's the definition of secondary infertility for a man who doesn't know?
So you've had one or more children, but then you're struggling to conceive any
Okay.
more children. You're struggling to
The
conceive
second
and
one.
grow your
Okay.
family further.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha. So
mhm,
you were successful once, but but it's not working another time. Okay. Gotcha.
mhm.
Yeah. Interesting. Any other stories that you like to share of any client successes?
I think the biggest success of one of the most transformational people that I've worked with is her having gone to from Canada to the States for IVF and not being successful,
Mhm.
and working with me and being ready to go back to frozen embryo transfer now. There was a lot to work through and go through, but being in such a better state and place, and it doesn't mean that she's pregnant yet, but I think that just seeing and knowing everything that she's gone through so far is just so much that we're willing to go through, the lengths that we're willing to go through. It almost, if and when it didn't work out, I just felt like being like, I would be your surrogate. I know how much this person really, truly wants it. And
Right.
to have that sort of relationship with someone, I think is truly special. And I think that to just know that when you've done everything that you possibly can for yourself, then you can have peace. And
Right.
she knows that no matter what, she will have peace. And so I think that's really, it comes back to having and knowing that in the end, it will all work out exactly as it's meant to. And so the surrender and the letting go.
Right. Yeah, that's probably really difficult for a lot of people is that being comfortable with the outcome, regardless of what that outcome is, right? Which is never
Mhm.
easy to do, but I think a really important one to do, right?
I think it's also important to highlight that, yes, I've worked with successes. And yes, I would love to be able to guarantee that everybody that works with me is going to get pregnant and going to have as many children as they want. But I can't guarantee that any more than a fertility clinic can guarantee that.
Right.
But you can guarantee that there are no negative consequences to working on yourself and to nourishing yourself at the best level possible. And I think that's truly a place that I hope that all women that are in this place will come to, that I don't need to because I know for myself that's exactly what I did in the beginning was okay, if you can't help me, then nothing can be done. There's no answers for me. There's no solutions for me. And that's not empowering. It's not a
Yeah, I'll
great
bet
place
that
to
was,
be in
yeah.
and sit in.
That's a very depressing and sad state, right, to be in. So hopefully you're helping. It sounds like you're helping a lot of people not stay there, right, and you get them out
Yes.
of that and get them into a place of peace, regardless of the outcome, which is, I think, very important, right? I think people for their mental health and for their physical health, as you were mentioning, our minds are so powerful that our minds can help our body do a lot of things either positively or negatively. So,
Yes.
like you said, the negative self-talk can really have a negative impact on your body, and then just the reverse, a positive outlook and a positive self-talk can really change your mind and your body physically, which is really strange. It's stuff that I wouldn't have believed a few years ago, but I obviously have learned a lot about how the mind body spirit connection does work, and it's important that we use all of them in harmony to be a better person and have your body operate the way that the good Lord intended it to operate. And then
Hmm.
I love that you're giving people hope. Right, that's exciting, and then you're giving them peace regardless of the outcome, which those two things I
Yes.
think are beautiful. So thank you for doing what you do.
You're welcome. I'm happy to be here, and I feel our purpose finds us. I feel like my purpose found me, and so it's my path to serve others because we're not meant to be here to struggle and to suffer and to do it alone. And I know that lots of people are suffering silently, that if someone in their immediate circle isn't going through this or experiencing this, then they do feel alone and they feel like no one understands them, no one they know is going through this, and it feels unrelatable to a lot of the world if they already have children and things like that. And
Right.
so there can be a lot of separateness felt and a lot of divisiveness between perhaps your family, your friends, your colleagues, and things like that. And so it's really just being able to put yourself in the forefront and prioritize yourself. And it's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to prioritize your own health and being and do what you need to do in the moment and to let go of other people's judgments, opinions, and expectations
Right,
because it's
right.
your life.
Sure, easy to say, but hard to do, right? That's yeah, that's especially when you're dealing with something so physical and so emotional for women, right? Because it is such an important thing. It's their body, their spirit, their soul yearns for having a child when they get to that point where they do want to have one, and then for them to have the suffering of not being able to successfully have one is a very big challenge that I don't think a lot of people really understand. But you said 1 in 6, that's just such a dramatic number. That's a really large number. There's a lot of families are struggling with, and I don't know. Do you know if that trajectory is going up? Is the 1 in 6, has that been a big increase in the last few years, or has it always been
I
that way?
I can honestly say that from the beginning of the pandemic, when I started my business, it was 1 in 8. So
Wow.
to now it's 1 in 6. So
Wow.
that is not a long span of time. And so
Mm,
I think we have to be mindful. We need to pay attention of what we're doing to ourselves
yeah.
physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually,
Yeah.
because it means that the health really of our world is not headed in the right direction, right? We want those
That's
numbers
exactly
to
right.
not be
Yeah.
going in that direction. We want them to be going the other way.
That's right. I had assumed that that was the case, but it's actually nice that you know that, because if you look at all the other health issues that we as human beings are going through right now, especially in the Americas, right? Our health is just declining dramatically, and all the diseases are just going through the roof. And so from going from 1 to 8 to 1 to 6 is a ginormous impact in that short a period of time. If you think about it, that's a
Yeah.
really large increase in that short a period of time. And so that's an issue, that's a problem. And you look at diabetes, you look at obesity, you look at all these other health cardiovascular issues, those are all just going up. And it's dramatic. So we really need to start taking a look at how we can take care of ourselves holistically and treat our bodies the way God made them. And then when we do that, we can really help ourselves. So I love that you're focusing on this for women, and I'm glad they have a resource to reach out to. So what's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Uh, I would love for you to join my Holistic Fertility Coach Facebook group if you are currently struggling to conceive, or if you're listening to this and there's someone in your world that is struggling, because if it's not you, there's someone in your world that is struggling. So I would be happy for you to join my group, to join my community, to join a safe, sacred space where you can ask questions, where you can receive guidance and support in a like-minded community, because I feel like no one should feel like they're alone on this journey. And over a decade ago, everything wasn't at the touch of our fingertips like it is today, but we have access and availability to so much to really support ourselves and to really know that asking and seeking support isn't a weakness, it's a strength.
Very good. Very good. I like it. So we'll make sure that we have a link to your Facebook group. Is that the best way for them to contact you? Join your Facebook group and connect with you?
Yeah, that's the best way to sort
Okay.
of to find me, to find your tribe. I feel like we all have a soul tribe on this earth,
Right.
and to find your soul tribe, to find the people that resonate with you, and whether that's your immediate family or not, that there are people in the world that are meant to be there through certain phases of our life.
Very good. Very good. We'll make sure that we have the link in our show notes for this episode. Make sure people can get you. But geez, what a pleasure to have you on the I Am Pain Free podcast, Ashley. I really appreciate you and your story, and I love your heart to help women get through this very emotional and sometimes traumatic issue of trying to get pregnant, right? And then to see the success stories, I'm sure is just incredibly wonderful to see that. And then you've done it with yourself. So congratulations and happy
Yes.
birthday to your beautiful son. Is that right? It was a
Thank
boy. What
you.
did you say? Yeah. So
Yes.
that's so amazing that you've been able to do that. And then you've taken that and helping others. I love your heart to help other women go through this, because it's not just women, right? You're helping the family when you're dealing with, but obviously they're all involved in the success story. But we really appreciate you and what you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be here and to share my story.
Great. All right. I appreciate you. With that, we're signing off from the I Am Pain Free podcast. Talk to you next time. As many of you know, my focus at the I Am Pain Free podcast is help as many people get pain free as possible. And we strive to use all natural and alternative therapies to accomplish that goal. Well, today I'm thrilled to introduce to you a revolutionary product that aligns perfectly with our mission of natural health and well being. It's called Exodus by Exodus Strong. At Exodus Strong, their mission is to help you break free from the grip of big pharma and embrace natural solutions that promote vibrant health. With a foundation rooted in the wisdom of the Bible, the all-natural supplement harnesses the power of 7 key ingredients specifically mentioned in the scriptures. The flagship product Exodus is designed to be transformational, providing benefits such as energy enhancement, stress relief, blood sugar stabilization, pain relief, and anti-inflammation. So join the movement, right, to help them get 1 million new people to read the Bible every day and transform their health naturally. When you purchase Exodus, use code IAPF at checkout to receive a special free gift with your order. It's time to exit the old you and step into a new chapter of vitality and well-being. To get there, you go to exodusstrong.com. So it's Exodus, EXODUSSTRONG.com. And check out and use that IAPF for the I Am Pain-Free podcast. And then you'll experience the benefits of the Exodus mineral blend. This mineral blend is amazing. It's got the molecular hydrogen generating formula that's backed by hundreds of scientific studies. So begin your journey feeling great and looking great. Don't miss the opportunity to take control of your health with the all-natural way. So go check it out. I think you'll really enjoy it.